everyone. Welcome. My name is Rachel Foy. I own Hillman Homes here in West Newton. We are a real estate firm who helps buyers, sellers, investors, and renters. And I'm really happy to be doing this podcast. And I'm really happy that my friend James Salamini is here from Guaranteed Rate. Welcome, James.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here. This is awesome.
Awesome. So just for everyone out there, why don't you tell everybody who you are and about Guaranteed Rate?
Yeah, sure. So my name is James Salamini. I'm a loan officer at Guaranteed Rate. I've been with Guaranteed Rate since 2012. Been a loan officer since 2011-ish. So it's been about 13 years. Guaranteed Rate, we are the second largest retail mortgage lender in the country. So in terms of size, programs, capacity, we're definitely one of the best lenders out there, which is why I'm still there. I've been there for a long time. But we work with primarily right now first-time home buyers, people looking to buy homes in this crazy market.
Well, I have a funny little surprise for you because I wanted everybody to know that I've known you since you looked like this. So everyone's going to get to see that. Yep, there you go. And just to see how long and how far we've come in our friendship and working together, I had a good laugh that I found that. So now that you have a beard, maybe you want to tell everyone a little bit, why did you get into the mortgage industry?
Oh, it's funny. I kind of fell backwards into the mortgage industry. I've told you this a million times. I just was coming out of college. I graduated 2010. Tough job market like it is right now. And I was just kind of looking for different opportunities. And one of my first friends from the college I went to, Salve Regina in Newport, was working for my first mortgage company. And I was just kind of out there applying for jobs. And I had applied for this one randomly. And he called me and said, hey, they recognize I went to the same college. And I let them know that I know you. He said, would you be interested in coming to work for this company? I didn't even know what a mortgage was back then, to be honest. Like, I knew, of course, but I didn't know anything about it. But their whole thing was to, hire kids fresh out of college, kind of teach them the sales thing, and then mortgages later. So I figured that one out. And then, but from there, I learned a lot. It was a really great experience, and I ended up going to Guaranteed Rate a year and a half later. And that's where I really feel like my career began. But that was kind of how I got into it, and it's been an unbelievable experience so far.
And now you're the manager.
Now I'm technically the manager, yeah. I've opened up my own branch in Hingham back in, when was that? 2015? Yep. And then I just moved my branch to Hanover this past January. So it's been
you're down in
really
Hanover
well.
now.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
in Hanover.
You keep going south, you're going to end up in the Cape soon, because after a while, I'm not coming to visit.
That's as far as I'll go is Hanover. That's it. That's a limit for me.
I had a house down years ago in Duxbury, and I used to cry every time I had to get onto Route 3. Yep. So I feel for you. Hopefully you know the back roads.
Yeah, well, the benefit is reverse traffic for me.
Okay, good.
But it's good, though. It's really good. I'm from the South Shore. I do a lot of business down there, and it's just... It's nice to be down there, but that's as far as I'm going. I'm not going any further.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. So today we were thinking a little bit, we could talk about first-time home buyers, because I know for both you and I know when I started in this business, I focused on first-time home buyers. It's a big thing as a realtor. You come into this business and you're like, okay, how do I get business? Well, on the buyer side makes more sense. First-time home buyers makes a lot of sense. How much of your business do you find is with first-time home buyers?
Right now, it's most of my business, but not by design, but on the purchase side of my business, I'd say 90% of my buyers are first-time buyers. That's just kind of how it happened. I didn't go after them specifically, but especially in this market, there's a lot of life changes happening. The need for housing is there, but it's mostly first-time home buyers. It's people getting married, having kids, and making job moves or relocation for whatever reason. So most of it is first-time home buyers. Some cases buying and selling, but as you know, with the interest rates and a lot of people with these McMansions at 3% interest rates, if they wanted to move to downsize, they'd be increasing their payments. So in most cases right now, it makes sense for them to just stay put. So most of it is first-time home buyers.
Right. And I know, because in here we're dealing with not only sales, but rentals. You can't find anything for, under $2,000 a month if it's a good rental. So a lot of times people are dealing with roommate situations and trying to figure out how to borrow money from their parents or going back to live with their parents. So we always have this conversation, like, instead of paying that rent price, why not work and buying your first home, and let's see what that looks like. And I know you've done a lot of work with what's the difference between, is it better to rent or is it to buy? And I know you have a whole schedule on that
Yeah.
teaches people, right?
Yeah, the rent versus buy calculator has been super helpful lately, because what I can do is I can plug in exactly the situation. Say if you're renting right now for $3,500 a month and you have a set price range of whatever it is with a certain down payment, including closing cost, what's the break-even point if you were to sell that property, or if you kept it, would you start making money? 9 times out of 10, it's less than 2 years. So that was even with inflated numbers. So that's assuming if let's say your break-even point is 2 years, that means if you sold your property at that 2-year mark, you'll have made back your initial investment, your closing costs, your realtor fees, your transfer taxes, everything soup to nuts in terms of what your costs are compared to what you would have paid in rent. Anything beyond that point, now you're making money. That's equity. So if you were to keep it another 2, 3, 4, 5, however many years, now that's building up that much more equity, and it made that much more sense. That's not even assuming you refinance the mortgage down to a more affordable number. Right. So that's been really helpful, at least eye-opening, even for people that were looking to rent. And even when you're going to rent, you need first month's rent, last month's rent, some cases, security deposit, realtor fee. If you're paying $3,000, that's $12,000 a month in initial upfront investment just to rent a property that's not even yours.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're doing a lot of these to say, well, yes, it is more expensive. The interest rates are not favorable. This is our new normal for the time being. So setting people up for understanding the numbers and just getting more comfortable with it and understanding that it is still a good investment is 90% of my day.
Yep, absolutely. So I know the answer to this, but why don't you tell me a little bit about, or tell for everyone out there, what was it like the first time you bought a property? I know you had a great realtor.
Well, I had a great team. That was the difference. What I feel for a lot of first time buyers now that are trying to go at it themselves. They're going on the Zillows and the Realtor.coms, and it's like, WebMD. As if I have a pain in my hand, all of a sudden I think I have some terminal disease because God. I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know the right answers, the wrong answers.
Right.
So when I first did it, I had my great team around me, and it all started with you as the real estate agent. You're the tip of the spear when it comes to creating a real estate team that will guide you in the right direction. So it's without you, myself, but also other buyers would have been lost. So it's like, okay, I want to buy a house. Great. Well, here's what you have to do. You have to go get pre-approved. You have to meet with a real estate attorney. Oh, by the way, you need insurance. You need to get a home inspector. That was the beginning and the experience for me to kind of just start the real estate buying process. So without that, I don't know what I would have done. So going at it on my own would have been, I could have done it. I absolutely could have, I think, but I would have stumbled along the way.
Yeah, I was telling a little bit, and I think I've told you my story. My first time buying a place was torture because I did think I could go at it alone. I didn't understand the value of a realtor. I went to 36 different homes. I had 3 deals that I put together that I had to back out of for various reasons. And I felt like someone was trying to get me at every point of the way. And it was like this stop, start. And I was like really annoyed by the whole process.
Yeah. And the thing to understand too, for me was like, this is what I do for work every day now. This is just every deal it's work for me. But when I'm on the other side of that coin, when it's personal, now it's an emotional decision. And now I'm going in and I'm falling in love with the house versus looking at the numbers. So when you have that team around you, and especially on my side of things, my job is to make people understand numbers and be comfortable with it, to make an informed decision, to then kind of get the emotional stuff out of the way, but to be able to understand it in a nutshell before you make the emotional decisions. That's the whole point of having the team and having you there was to bounce ideas off of, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? What should I do here? That's the professional advice that you need.
Yeah, I always say picking a realtor is like finding your therapist, right? So you got to feel comfortable. Like, can I talk to you about, my money? Can I talk to you about my insecurities about the house, or what do I need? You start and you end your day at home, right? So why not make sure that it's a happy and safe place to be? And I know we talked a little bit about what are your wants, what are your not wants, but the most important thing is what can you afford? Because I can show you everything in the world, but if you fall in love with a place you can't afford, you're going to be mad at me and everybody else around you, right? So I sit down, I do a consultation and say, okay, this is the steps that you need to do. But first, it's got to start with a pre-approval. So for the first-time home buyers, what advice would you give them to be prepared for that pre-approval process?
To get prepared for the pre-approval, you have to focus on the controllables. And the things you can control are income, hopefully you can control that, but income is something that we want to make sure we're getting all the documents in place that we need. So be prepared to provide pay stubs, W-2s, tax returns, assets. Where's the money coming from? Do you have the money in a bank account already? Is it coming from gift money? Are you liquidating from retirement or stocks or whatever it is? Get a plan in place so you know where the money's coming from and have everything ready to go. So when you talk to the mortgage person, hopefully it's me, I can say, okay, here's what we need from you and here's how we can set you up. But the biggest one is credit. Credit is the one thing that is controllable, where you can look at it as early as possible. Even if you know you're not going to buy this year, next year, whatever, look at the credit now. It could be perfect. Great. You know you're good. Just keep doing what you're doing. But if there's something on there you don't know about, we can clean it up. We can actually set a plan on it and say, okay, you need to pay this credit card down to this balance and your credit score will go up. Or you have this collection that's outstanding, or this is a late payment that you didn't know about. We can look at this stuff ahead of time so that you have time to be able to plan for it and clean things up. Because if you go see the house first, fall in love, then you call me on a Sunday afternoon, do a pre-approval, and oh, by the way, you need a month to clean this up.
Right.
You're going to lose out on that house that you just fell in love with, and you're going to have to go find something else.
Absolutely.
So starting early, having a plan, being prepared, that's the number one piece of advice.
Great. Thank you so much.